I'm a popular science blogger. On the second morning of searching for the elephant herd, I suddenly felt chest tightness, shortness of breath, and difficulty breathing. The familiar sensation immediately made me realize my asthma was acting up. Controlling my breathing, I fumbled in my travel bag for my asthma inhaler and twisted it. A. Apple. B. Banana. Cheerful childish voices came. I stared dumbfounded at my boyfriend, Elias, who had volunteered to pack my luggage for me. He and his personal secretary, Delilah, were laughing so hard they could barely stand up straight. Sloan, you're so hardworking. Ha ha ha. It's just that your education doesn't seem that high, still using a reading pen for ABCs? I clutched my chest, struggling to breathe, unable to argue. Elias always loved playing pranks, but I never expected him to joke around with my life. The medicine? Give it to me. Cough cough. My boyfriend laughed enough, then said to me, okay, that's enough acting. I ate breakfast today, and there weren't any peanuts at all. The suffocating sensation came over me. Gasping for breath, I sent a distress signal to my brother, who was on the border trying to stop poachers. Brother, follow the location and come quickly. Elias switched my medicine. Elias still didn't realize the seriousness of the situation, and looking at me kneeling on the ground, he became even more disdainful. Seriously, Sloan, why did you study biological and environmental science? You should really get into acting with your acting skills. He glanced impatiently at his watch. The elephant herd should be here in half an hour. Get up and get the recording equipment ready. He tried to pull me up, but I coughed violently. Oxygen deprivation made my vision go black, and I broke out in a cold sweat. I squeezed out a plea for help through clenched teeth. Medicine. Give it back. Can't breathe. Delilah walked up to me with a wronged expression. Sloan, why are you being like this? Elias specifically told me yesterday to look at the ingredient list before cooking for you. I looked at it very carefully. There were definitely no peanuts. And I'm a certified nutritionist. How could I joke around with my professional future? After she finished speaking, she raised her head pitifully and tugged on Elias's sleeve. Maybe I shouldn't have come. Sloan must have wanted to be alone with you. Maybe. I should go back. Elias immediately stopped her. Don't talk nonsense. I can't feel at ease with you alone. When he looked at me again, his face completely turned cold. Experts have said that peanut allergies don't even count as allergies. Stop acting if you don't hurry up and get ready, and miss the elephant migration. Don't blame us. I was too weak to argue with him. Severe allergic reactions can lead to death by suffocation. In despair, I remembered that I had a strip of loratadine in my pocket. But when I pulled it out, it turned out to be just throat lozenges. Elias frowned and snatched it away, scoffing after seeing the packaging. I knew you were faking it. It's good timing since Delilah and I have said so much. We can use it to soothe our throats. The sharp aluminum foil cut my web of thumb, causing a burning pain. Kumpa, the local guide I hired, returned from scouting and didn't know what to do when he saw this scene. Breathing was becoming more and more difficult. Even my heart ached faintly from lack of oxygen. Elias, I really feel terrible. If I die here, the Elias family is finished. In desperation, I had no choice but to bring up my family background to threaten him. But I didn't expect that to completely enrage him. Fuck. It's your problem for not bringing enough medicine. What does it have to do with me? Delilah also joined in the outrage. Before, Elias told me you acted like a spoiled princess. And now seeing you talk like that, you really are worthless. Only someone with Elias's good temper can tolerate you. I was trembling with anger from the two of them, and grabbed his trouser leg with a shaky hand. Really? People will die. Elias shook me off in disgust. Keep acting. Go ahead and drop dead right here and show me. Delilah pretended to dissuade him. Okay, Sloan is probably just a little delicate. Elias took her hand and was about to leave. Just her delicate. What about everyone else? Elias. I pinched my palm tightly. Elias, if you dare leave. Cough cough, our family's marriage alliance will be cancelled. Elias finally stopped, still holding Delilah. I had just caught my breath when I heard him say with a sneer. Sloan, is that how you beg? Beg you. I gasped, leaning against the tree and sitting inelegantly in the mud. You took my life-saving medication. If something happens to me and the police get involved, do you think you'll get away clean? Elias's expression changed slightly, but Delilah chuckled in his arms. But Sloane, it's just the three of us here. I can testify that Elias did nothing. Though she was smiling, I saw malice in her eyes. Elias's fleeting panic turned into composure. The local guide, Kumpa, finally sensed something was wrong, muttering in the dialect I only half understood. Sayong si dao? I understood that he was talking about the hospital and taking medicine, and nodded weakly. Kumpa was about to help me up. But Elias stepped forward and pushed him away forcefully, scolding. Get out of here. This is none of your business. Then, Elias threw a throat lozenge hard at me. Haven't you made enough of a scene? Always threatening me with allergies. Last time at the banquet at my house, you made a face just because of a few peanut crumbs. Do you just like using this kind of method to get attention? I never thought he'd have the nerve to bring that up. The day before meeting the parents, I came across a post on social media. My girlfriend's family is better off than mine. How should I give her a hard time when our families meet? The top-rated answer that was pinned said, Blogger, I don't know about you, but my girlfriend is allergic to peanuts. Tomorrow when we meet the parents, I plan to add peanut crumbs to every dish. This is called testing compliance. The next day, I stared coldly at the table full of dishes with peanut crumbs. It was a matter of life and death, but he made it sound like I was deliberately showing off my uniqueness. Delilah clung to his arm, adding fuel to the fire. Elias, don't be angry, Sloane might just be trying to get your attention. Elias got even more excited and started listing my faults nonstop. It's your fault for not bringing your medication. How would I know you'd be allergic coming here if I'm not sick? Delilah and I pushed back work and took annual leave to accompany you. Are we in the wrong too? I told you, it's just an allergy, you won't die. What's wrong with my hand? Delilah exclaimed, and red rashes appeared on her exposed arm. Elias immediately became nervous, and without hesitation, took out a strip of loratadine from his pocket. It must be a skin allergy, quickly take the medicine. I specifically checked before coming. The mosquitoes here are especially poisonous, take 2 pills together. I was stunned. He had medicine. But when I was about to suffocate to death, he gave the medicine to Delilah, who was only bitten by mosquitoes. Just as I struggled to get up to beg for the pills, the trumpeting of an elephant came from afar. Kumpa looked pale and urged anxiously. Mian lay hurry. Elephant heard. Elias turned pale and shouted at me. Have you had enough? Get up quickly, stop being willful. I shook my head in despair. Even if I got up, I wouldn't be able to run. Delilah abandoned Elias and rushed over, wanting to pull me up. Sloane, I'll pull you away, we can't joke with everyone's lives. Hurry, that's. Delilah's hand slipped, and my back hit the tree heavily. I couldn't catch my breath. The breathing rate I had struggled to maintain was completely disrupted. Another violent cough. Delilah fell to the side, crying with red eyes. Sloane, why did you push me? Elias. My ankle is twisted. Elias rushed over to help her up, and without asking questions, blamed me. Sloane, what exactly are you trying to do? Delilah kindly came to help you. You won't be happy until you kill her? I coughed, breathless, and struggled in the mud. It's okay, Elias, you go carry Sloane, I can. Hiss. Delilah clutched her foot in pain. Elias hugged her firmly. I can't handle this kind of princess. I'm not afraid of canceling the arranged marriage either. I looked up and saw Delilah's lips curling up, silently saying, Go die. She's doing it on purpose. Even if she is doing it on purpose, it's better than someone like you who lords over others because of their family. Elias's words made me utterly despair. There was a slight tremor beneath me. The elephants were approaching. I collapsed under the tree, clinging to life. Every breath I took sounded like bellows pumping air. The blood on my fingers was an unnaturally dark color. The symptoms of oxygen deprivation were getting worse and worse. Kumpa anxiously opened the water bottle and fed me, trying to ease my pain. I dared not move. Every movement made me gasp for breath. I could only drink 2 sips from his hand. My throat must have been swollen. Even swallowing water hurt terribly. On the other side, Delilah pitifully begged Elias. I've been busy making breakfast for Sloane since I woke up this morning, and I haven't even had a sip of water. I'm so thirsty too. Can I ask them for some? Elias immediately put her in the car, snatched the water bottle, and looked down at me condescendingly. You're shouting that you're going to die, so drink less then. At this point, I couldn't even make a sound. More elephant calls came again. Delilah urged him. Elias, hurry. The elephants are coming. A hint of struggle flashed in Elias's eyes. I'll ask you one last time. Are you going to leave or not? I closed my eyes and stopped looking at him. Beep beep. My satellite phone suddenly rang. Elias was stunned, and quickly pulled the phone out of my pocket. With just one glance, his face turned ashen. Damn it, are you trying to kill me? It was just a joke. Why did you tell Rowan so much nonsense? The bushes in the distance began to shake, and Delilah was crying. Elias, I'm so scared. Did she just try to break my leg? Did she want the elephants to kill me and bury me with her? Elias looked at me as if I were a vicious madwoman. You still want your brother to come and save you? Dream on. I'll see who can find you today. You want to die and drag Delilah down with you. Someone like you doesn't deserve to live. Kumpa's Chinese wasn't good. He didn't understand what was going on between us at all. He thought Elias was coming to help him drag me into the car. Elias directly took out a wad of cash and stuffed it into Kumpa's hand, pointing at the GPS. Here, don't worry about her. Lead us the way. Someone will come and save her. Birds took flight in alarm. Kumpa clutched the money, hesitantly glanced at me and said sorry a couple of times. He turned around, broke off some large banana leaves and covered me with them, and followed Elias and Delilah. Just when I thought I would be buried in the rainforest, a small drone hovered above me. We are staff from the Forestry Bureau. Does the person below need assistance? Elias, already in the car, saw the drone and was afraid that my miserable state and their actions would be photographed and exposed. He immediately put on an anxious but reluctant expression and ran back, shouting at the drone. No help is needed, this is our teammate. There is an injured person in the team. We are afraid of a sudden elephant attack, and now I will take her away. The drone continued to broadcast. The elephants are approaching your area. Do not move around randomly. We will come to guide you in 10 minutes. I breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed that at least I wouldn't be abandoned in the wilderness. Seeing that they couldn't leave, a hint of struggle flashed in Elias's eyes. He took out the inhaler I desperately wanted. Sloane, I can give you the medicine, but you have to pretend that nothing happened. Can you do that? Okay. I reached out impatiently just as I was about to touch the inhaler. Delilah snatched the medicine away. Elias, she just wanted me to die. Can you believe what someone like that says? I want to watch as the life-saving medicine is easily taken away by Delilah. She leaned close to Elias' ear and whispered a few words. Elias' face changed dramatically. No, absolutely not. Delilah, pretending to be disgusted, poked him. You're so stupid. It's not real, just pretend to film like this. With a handle. Then she won't dare to talk nonsense anymore. Saying this, Delilah reached out to mess up my hair, pulling open my combat jacket. Kumpa, come, have you ever tasted the taste of a rich young lady? I widened my eyes in horror. Elias. Are you just going to stand there and watch? To make me even more desperate, Elias took out his phone and aimed it at me. Just like Delilah said, I can't trust your promise, this is the best way. Just take a few photos, won't let him play for real. Don't do this. Delilah kept urging. Just 10 minutes, hurry. Kumpa finally came over. He loosened his pants as instructed, reached out to grab my wrist, pressing it closely. Elias raised his phone, constantly changing angles. Don't worry, as long as you don't tell Rowan, I won't release these photos. Tears of humiliation blurred my vision. My lips turned purple, breathing becoming increasingly difficult, almost fainting. Elias, don't make me hate you. Delilah leaned in close to me, her eyes almost overflowing with malice. Hate him? You don't know how much he hates you. If it weren't for you, we would have been together a long time ago. It's all because of you. Why do you have to cling to Elias? When I was taken to have an abortion, You two were already engaged. It's all because of you. I lost my child with him. Each word from Delilah felt like a needle piercing my heart. But Elias. He had promised me. When we were 7 years old, we vowed to come watch the elephant migration together. At the banquet, all the children were playing and running around in the garden, except me. Because of asthma, I was strictly instructed to stay indoors and not engage in vigorous exercise. Do you want to come see the encyclopedia? Little Elias sat beside me. Do you know elephants? Elephants are the most amazing animals. He opened a page that was almost torn apart, pointing to the majestic elephant herd. See, this is elephant migration. They can remember the paths they took decades ago, crossing rainforests and deserts. Isn't that amazing? And there's elephant burial grounds. It's said that old elephants can sense death, and will go to their tribe's burial ground alone. The light in little Elias' eyes that day was brighter than any dazzling light. It was for that spark of light in his eyes that I dedicated myself to environmental protection for animals without any hesitation. My brother supported me by turning to border security, specifically to combat poaching. Elias. We're done for. Just as Kumpa's hand touched my chest, I completely passed out. The sound of engines roared from afar. 3 off-road vehicles thundered through the trees, abruptly stopping a meter away from us. Delilah was in a panic. Rescue coming so quickly? Elias put down his phone, his face turning pale. Kumpa immediately got up, nervously retreating to the side. Amidst the swirling dust, a familiar tall figure got out of the car, his gaze sweeping the scene like a knife. Finally, his concerned gaze settled on my disheveled self. Brother. I only managed to say this one word before the tears burst their banks. My brother's face had already darkened when he saw me disheveled, covered in tears, and collapsed on the ground. He didn't spare Elias and Delilah a second glance. He strode to my side, knelt on one knee, and took off his coat to wrap around me. Then he took out the inhaler he always carried. This iron-fisted man, known for his tough demeanor, was shaking so badly that he couldn't get the medicine into my mouth after several tries. Take slow breaths, Sloan. I'm here, it's okay. I greedily inhaled the medicine. The stifling blockage slowly receded, and fresh air finally entered my lungs. Only then did Elias, who had been terrified, come to his senses and step forward, his face pale. Rowan, listen to me, it's not what you think, it's a Ms. Shut up. Without even turning his head, my brother gestured to his deputy, who had just gotten out of the car behind him. The deputy immediately led people away, quickly searching the area around the camp. He carefully checked my condition. I tried to give him a reassuring smile, but judging by his expression, it must have looked more like a forced grimace. Soon the deputy returned, holding a bowl and a packaging bag with sauce residue, and reported in a low voice. Boss, we checked, the breakfast leftovers contain a large amount of peanut powder. It doesn't look like accidental contamination. Elias froze completely, looking at Delilah in disbelief, then at me, who was weak and exhausted. The color drained from his face. You really are allergic. Delilah, I specifically told you. Delilah, seeing that my brother was silent, thought she could easily deceive him. She spoke first, tears streaming down her face. It's not true. I just love to eat peanuts, but Sloan insisted on snatching them. She even said she liked my scent, blaming me for treating her differently. I didn't know her allergy was so severe. Elias looked at her pitiful appearance, and his tone softened. He pleaded with my brother. Rowan, look, Delilah didn't mean to, she knows she was wrong. And Sloan is fine now, it was just an accident, let's just forget about it. Rowan gently helped me up, slowly standing. He was half a head taller than Elias. The chilling aura from fighting poachers in the rainforest pressed down on Elias, stopping the rest of his words in his throat. He stared at Elias, saying each word clearly and forcefully. In our family, anything that concerns my sister is never a small matter. This, the adults told you when you volunteered to take care of my sister when you were 7. Elias's face was as pale as paper. My brother turned his gaze to Delilah, sizing her up. As for you, whether it was intentional or unintentional, explain it to the police yourself. Delilah took 2 steps back in fright, clutching Elias's arm tightly. Elias, I don't want to go. Rowan smiled coldly. Elias, you can choose whether to go to the police station with her to explain the situation, or continue to make excuses for her. But if you dare protect her, you're making an enemy of me, Rowan of the Rowan family. Elias's mouth moved slightly, and he subconsciously shielded Delilah behind him. Finally, my brother's gaze fell on Kumpa, who was trembling nearby, and he spoke in fluent local dialect. What were you planning to do to my sister just now? Was it your initiative or were you forced? Confess and you will be treated leniently. I took a deep breath, looking at Elias and Delilah, who were leaning on each other. My heart was calm. Brother, I said softly. The miniature camcorder in the side pocket of that backpack has been live streaming the entire time. I watched Elias's expression change drastically, and slowly added, all the evidence is there. Just right. I'd also like to know how many years you get for intentional harm and attempted indecent assault. Delilah screamed. Do you think I'm afraid of you just because you took pictures? Sloan, you are the murderer. She pointed at me in a frantic manner. Just to be with Elias, you made your family force Elias's family to abort my child. Elias, our child was killed by him. Delilah's eyes were red. On the day of your engagement, your mother was late to attend, because she said she wanted to see me bleed with her own eyes. Elias stopped Delilah and comforted her softly. Don't think about it, Delilah. We will have children, we will. Will we? My brother let out a sarcastic laugh, looking at Elias with undisguised mockery and pity in his eyes. Elias, use your brain. My Rowan family has never depended on your Elias family. If Sloan didn't like playing with you, do you think Elias's family would have climbed back into this circle over the years? A bastard, even if she is born, can she shake anyone's position? Every word was like a slap in the face, fiercely hitting Elias. Do I need my sister to speak up? My brother pointed to Elias's shoulders, and Elias stepped back step by step. Are you too full of yourself? My sister just wants to be your grandmother. Your mother has to go back and change her ID. Do you still not understand what your status really is? You are worthy of mentioning small matters. Elias's face had turned from pale to gray, and he finally sat down on the ground. Elias! I called out to him, and in his eyes, there was regret and remorse. I kindly spoke up. Why don't you think about the fact that Delilah's pregnancy was first known not by you, her boyfriend, but by your mother? Why don't you ask your father when you have time? I didn't want to say it originally, but they go to hotels owned by the Rowan family every time. Elias suddenly widened his eyes, as if struck by lightning. After I exposed Delilah, her eyes were full of fear and panic, screaming in denial. You're spouting nonsense. You just want to revenge against me. How evil are your thoughts? Elias, don't listen to her nonsense. My brother Rowan couldn't be bothered to give them another look, and gave the order directly. Take them all away, hand them over to the police. Send the evidence over immediately. I watched as Elias, who was lost and struggling, Delilah, who was screaming and struggling, and Kumpa, who looked ashen, were taken away in a car. With the dust settled, my brother turned around. All right, it's over. Scared, aren't you? I shook my head, but felt a wave of regret in my heart. Brother, has the elephant heard? Already passed by. I had planned for this dream for so long, but ultimately missed it in such an unbearable way. Who said you missed it? Just as he finished speaking, a helicopter came through the air. My brother fastened my seatbelt for me. I'll take you to Chase after the elephant herd. The live broadcast is still on. Let everyone who cares about you watch the migration with you. The helicopter ascended, and the vast rainforest spread out beneath us. Soon, the majestic and steady elephant herd appeared in sight. They crossed rivers, passed through jungles, like moving mountains. I watched the entire process contentedly, and then followed my brother to the police station to cooperate with the investigation. After finishing the record at the police station, the sun was setting in the west. The sunlight was a bit dazzling, so I squinted my eyes, and my brother immediately moved to my side to block the light for me. Elias followed behind us. He quickly caught up to me a few steps, his voice dry. Sloan. I'm sorry. I didn't know it would end up like this. I didn't know about Delilah. He spoke incoherently, his eyes filled with confusion and regret. Is there any point in saying all this now? I looked at him, unable to muster much hatred, only a deep sense of weariness. You are an adult, you have to take responsibility for what you've done. Can your apology erase the mistakes you've made? I left him speechless with my question, his lips trembling, finally managing to squeeze out a sentence. I have booked a ticket to go back to my country. If your brother is busy, I can accompany you back, take care of you on the way. I almost laughed at his statement. Accompany me back? Is this your apology and compensation? Or are you unsatisfied with how the last incident with the inhaler turned out, and want to try something different? He staggered back a step, his face devoid of color. Sloan, I'm not. I didn't. I thought it was just a joke. My brother's cold voice cut in. Elias, there is no us between you two anymore. Your behavior has proven that you are not worthy of taking care of my sister. The flight has already been arranged. I will accompany Sloan home, without troubling you, the young master Elias. My brother put his arm around me, leading me straight past him, not sparing another moment. The plane landed, back in the embrace of my homeland. At the entrance to the International Airport VIP channel, I encountered Elias again. He was alone, exuding the aura of a defeated man. After this trip, his childhood dreams remained unfulfilled, and he had not secured a reliable future. And at the exit gate, someone was the first to recognize Elias. It's him. That scumbag. Can't even leech properly, switch with me. You're useless even when given a chance. Waste. Helping the mistress harm the original wife. Go die, scum. Real life Scott. How do you have the face to show up again? Several sharp cursing voices rang out. Before the airport security could fully react, a few emotional passers-by had already started throwing things at him. Eggs hit Elias accurately, egg yolk streaming down him. Rotten vegetables clung to him, covering him from head to toe. Insults and flashes almost drowned him out. Elias dodged in embarrassment, but there was nowhere to run. My brother shielded me in his arms, cutting off the commotion behind us. On the way home, I checked my phone and found out. The domestic hot search had already exploded. #blogger rainforest murdered, #, Elias scum, #, real life vanished her, # the topics about this incident dominated the forefront. My accidentally started live broadcast recording had been spread everywhere. Some people even dug up our identities. Elias's family's stock price plummeted by 8 points overnight. The next morning, Elias's parents came to our house with Elias to apologize. My brother glanced at me, and I nodded. Elias's parents brought Elias in. As soon as they entered, Elias's father sternly shouted, "Ungrateful child. Kneel down and apologize to Sloan." With a thud, Elias knelt on the floor, burying his head deeply. "Sloan, I'm sorry." His voice was muffled, shaking. "It was my foolishness, my wickedness, my blindness. I apologize to you. I will be better in the future. Can you forgive me just this once, please?" Elias's mother was in tears on the side, chiming in. "Sloan, this was all Elias's fault this time. Scold him, hit him to vent your anger." When this child returned, he told us he regretted it. He is innocent too, he really didn't know you were allergic to peanuts. I picked up the warm tea on the coffee table, took a sip. Innocent? You don't think that, by coming here to kneel down and apologize, I'll just be soft-hearted, right? This supposedly innocent good son of yours almost killed me. Is one I didn't know enough to make up for everything? On the day Delilah was extradited back to the country, I had my lawyer submit the prepared lawsuit to the court. Perhaps the foreign law couldn't handle Elias, but the domestic law had its own justice. The case was processed quickly. The evidence was conclusive, live-streamed for over 100,000 people to witness. Even Elias himself admitted to the crime. After he apologized that day, I never saw him again. At the courtroom, I saw Elias looking much thinner. His eyes were filled with regret, pain, and a hint of a plea that I did not want to delve into. "Sloan, if that's what you want, I'm willing to confess. Indeed, it was my fault. I shouldn't have believed Delilah's words blindly. It was my negligence." In the end, for suspected involvement in illegal detention and crime, Elias was sentenced to 18 months in prison. From across the defendant's bench, he cried and tearfully said to me, "Sloan, I'm sorry. I've realized my mistake. You. Wait for me to come out. Shall we go see the elephant migration again? I remember, you did all this because of me. I calmly looked away without responding. Upon hearing about all my experiences in the rainforest, my parents were both heartbroken and furious. My mother held me and cried for a long time, scolding Elias as a beast. My father took direct and thunderous actions, immediately convening a board meeting that afternoon to announce the complete termination of all business cooperation and investment projects with the Elias family. The already crumbling Elias family was now in even worse shape. Elias's parents came to our door countless times, carrying expensive gifts and humbly begging for another chance, just hoping for a chance to make amends. Elias's mother held my mother's hand and pleaded, "Wait for Elias to come back. Let him take care of Sloan for the rest of his life like a servant." My mother brushed off her hand. "Mrs. Elias, does my Sloan need another attempted murderer to care for her?" Occasionally, people who wanted to curry favor with the Rowan family would pass news to me. Delilah was having an extremely difficult time in the women's prison. Inside, individuals like her, with a strong personality and convicted of child abuse, had the lowest status and were heavily bullied. I simply glanced at the news and shrugged it off, not thinking much about it. I heard that in a fierce conflict, she used a sharpened toothbrush to blind the head guard who had bullied her for a long time. As a result, she was charged with serious intentional harm, with her sentence being extended time and time again. She probably wouldn't get out for over a decade. It didn't bring me any satisfaction. All her hostility towards me was from Elias. I actively sought psychological counseling. I resumed my work in animal environmental protection, and even led the establishment of a foundation focusing on the safety and rights of field workers. Life was filled with positivity, and the dark clouds of the past were gradually dispersed. A year and a half had passed in the blink of an eye. Elias was released from prison. The Elias family, already on the brink of marginalization, still stubbornly had Elias appear beside me. Day after day, he would send bouquets of flowers to my foundation office with cards filled with regret and pleas. 2 months later, I finally agreed to meet with him. The meeting place was the coffee shop we used to love going to. Elias was already there, looking much thinner, with a hint of exhaustion and caution in his expression. Seeing me arrive, he immediately stood up. "I've instructed no flower motifs in your dessert later." "No need, I just came to sit down, not eat anything." Elias' eyes were filled with the settled pain and humility. "Sloan, I'm not asking for your forgiveness, but can you give me a chance to change for the better?" I was thinking. Let me compensate you once, Let's go see the elephant migration again, fulfill our initial dream, how about it? Just as I was about to refuse, a lazy voice came from behind. Laughable, go with you once and there will be psychological shadows? Felix came over with a cup of coffee and sat down next to me in a very natural way. I have already prepared the strategy for chasing the northern lights in Iceland for the next stop. He grinned at Elias, revealing 2 sharp fangs. "Oh, old Elias, you should honestly repent and start anew." Elias looked incredulously at the man who was behaving intimately with me in front of him and blurted out, "Felix." The mischievous guy next to him looked even more pleased. To add on, my new identity now is the fiancé of the young lady of the Rowan family. My connection with Felix started 1 second earlier than Elias. When Elias, under the hints of the elders, reluctantly came in to accompany me holding that thick encyclopedia. Outside the window, a young boy was sweating profusely as he struggled to move a comical squirrel statue facing the girl inside the window who had no freedom. He made an extremely exaggerated funny face at me, instantly making me laugh. For many years after that, we had no contact. It wasn't until I sent Elias in and started a new life that Felix clumsily and sincerely barged into my life, and then confessed. The Felix family was a scholarly family. After my parents heard that Felix had been secretly in love with me for over 20 years, they finally allowed me to date him after asking around a lot. He accompanied me to see herds of elephants, did boring crafts with me. He always found fun in the dull life I found uninteresting. In front of the destitute and haggard Elias, Felix effortlessly won. But he had a sharp tongue, stinging more with each word. I'm not like certain people who mistake fish eyes for pearls, hold them in their hands for fear of dropping them, and keep them in their mouths for fear of them melting. Elias tightened his fingers suddenly. Ignoring it, Felix continued to cut deeper. Frankly speaking, old Elias, when I was a child, I respected you as a man who could pick up easy money, but I never expected that you couldn't even hold a bowl steadily. People say that the assistant of your Elias family, oh no, the life secretary, is very capable in business, catering to all ages. Is that true? He blinked his eyes, looking genuinely curious. Felix's mouth kept going, breaking through Elias's last bit of disguise and dignity. He stared at Felix deathly, then looked at me with sadness. In the end, not a single word came out, and he left the cafe in a daze. Old Elias, when it's time for the wedding, I'll send you an invitation. You must come. I watched his disheveled figure fleeing and sighed softly. Why do you still tease him like that when he's already like that? The playful smile on Felix's face instantly disappeared. He held my hand, his eyes becoming extremely serious. I'm not teasing him. I'm telling him that you're doing well now, with better company. My fiancé, there's no need for someone like him to compensate or desire. Elias did not attend my wedding with Felix. He sent a pair of ivory carvings bought at an auction through someone. It depicted a scene of elephant migration, with each small elephant vividly depicted. I glanced at it and instructed to have it kept properly. Felix muttered, "Can we put it in storage?" I knew that this expensive gift would probably never see the light of day from now on. But Elias and those promises about elephants had already been the old burdens I had let go of. I had a more promising future ahead. The person who was writing the future with me was holding my hand and never letting go.